Kia ora everyone, welcome back to the channel and to a video that's been quite difficult for me to film, but something I have wanted to do for quite a while. So if you've seen any of my complete collection tours, you'll know at several points I talk about certain books that I should probably unhaul because I don't see myself colouring in them. I don't exactly like them all that much, but I have a real difficult time just getting rid of colouring books in general. I am very good about unhauling clothes, unhauling household goods, but when it comes to anything art related, I have a very difficult time unhauling supplies and bits and pieces, and the same goes for my colouring books. However, today I sat down and I was just like, you know what, we're going to do this. We're going to sit down and we're going to go through the collection and we're going to remove some books. Now, I could have been a lot more brutal, but I'm proud of myself for removing this many books because it's very difficult for me to remove books. So the fact I've pulled out this many to unhaul, to give new homes to, is quite a big thing for me. And, you know, like, the way I view it, it's not me saying these books aren't good enough, these books aren't, you know, it's me acknowledging that they're not the books that I love the most and they can go to somebody who will love them. There's somebody out there who will appreciate these books and it's just not me. So with that, let's go through the books. Is quite a pile. So the first one, these are in no particular order, they're just the order that I put together when I shoved them into a pile. The first one is Posh Colouring Book Japanese Designs. Now, I actually picked this up for 50 cents from a secondhand shop. I was so excited to find a colouring book in the secondhand shop. And this often happens when I'm secondhand shopping. If I see a colouring book, I'll just grab it because I'm so excited to see a colouring book. When I first started my colouring journey, it was very difficult for me to find colouring books, so I used to grab any colouring books. I've now got some places I can source colouring books from, and I understand what I lean towards in terms of colouring a lot more. So I'm less likely to just grab anything. And this is the exact type of book I do not reach for. A lot of this is Shutterstock art where it's just clip art that's been layered or a pattern. You can tell by all the different line weights, all the different styles. I know that this is not a book that I will ever lean for. I am not into these sort of repeating patterns, and it's very much a certain type of book. And you can see in the copyright information somewhere about it being a Shutterstock book, I believe. It may not be, but there's a few of them that are definitely Shutterstock books, and they will mention it as well. But yeah, I've had it for over a year now, and I haven't even pulled it off the shelf once, except to use it in videos for my complete collection tour. So, great bargain find, but we're getting rid of it. Another secondhand book that I grabbed at the time was Fabulous Flowers. I paid $2 for this one. This is the exact same thing. It is just repeating patterns, various line weights. It's not something that I have ever pulled out. It did come with some elements pre-colored in from the previous owner. I have not touched it since then. Just seeing. Yeah. Illustrations by Thinkstock, and Getty Images. That's another one of those sort of clip arty easy print books. There's nothing wrong with these in terms of, like, if you like colouring patterns and mindless colouring, I think would be wonderful in here. They are gorgeous books. Like, this is a gorgeous book. It's just not something I gravitate towards. So, and rather than just letting it sit on my shelf and not be loved, let's find it a home for somebody who would enjoy that. Right, we have Shimmer Mandalas. This is another secondhand book that I got for 50 cents. It is very cute. It is very adorable, and I nearly did keep this one because it's so freaking cute, and it looks like it would be a good felt tip one, and it is like shiny, sparkly. It just looked really, really cute, but it's been sitting on my shelf for a long time. I don't gravitate towards it. This is not the sort of thing that I gravitate towards, and I just don't see myself working in it. So I'm sure somebody out there will love it, and they'll be able to do some beautiful art in there. But yeah. Another semi-recent secondhand find is this Tropic Color colouring book. This one, the line weight in this one is actually really nice, and there is some really, like, I could see potential in this one, but I have similar books to this. There's only like maybe 1 or 2 images that I would colour in here, and they're not things that I am gravitating towards, so I thought I could hold on to it, but also it could go, and someone out there who would enjoy it will enjoy it a lot more, and because it's completely untouched, you know, it might appeal to someone else a little bit more because there's no work currently done in there. Again, this is another secondhand find for 50 cents. Notice a lot of the books I'm getting rid of so far are the secondhand ones that I used to just grab. Another one is this Birds and Butterflies by Alice Chadwick. This one I grabbed for $3 initially. This one is really stunning. But again, it's a lot of that patterns and just not something I gravitate towards. Like, there's a couple of images in here. Again, like, I do really like this spread, and I could see myself having some fun with that spread, but then, like, I look at this and I'm just like, I'm never going to colour that, and there's a lot of that in the book. So yeah, I just thought, it's been sitting on my shelf for a long time, well over a year. I've never even pulled it off the shelf except for filming complete collection tours, so time to find it a new home. Lost in a Daydream. Now, you wouldn't have seen this one in any of my complete colouring book tours because I got this for free recently when I purchased a bunch of secondhand books. The seller just chucked this one in here. You can see that they've already coloured a couple of pages in here. They're actually a really good colorist, so it's quite a cute little portable book. Very, very cute, but it's not anything that I would gravitate towards. And this one was like, you know, I got it for free. I recognize I'm not going to go for it, so it's like, nah, let's just move that straight out. All right, this one was not a secondhand buy. This one, there was a collection of colouring books available at a local supplier that were relatively cheap, and I'd never heard of any of these books. And so I grabbed a bunch of them because I was like, I'll try that. Because again, any books I could grab was what I grabbed. And I think out of all the books that came in, I've maybe got one that I'm keeping. I think there's like 8 or so books. I just moved some other ones to the top. And the rest of them are just like a waste. So yeah, so that was also another lesson of don't buy books you can't find flip throughs and information on because you'll regret. And we have regrets. So we have Kawaii, Cute and Easy. Abdu Mada is the artist here, I believe. Yeah, there's really not a lot of information about this book. It is a very cute, simple book. And if it was single-sided, I could see this being really fun for felt tips. Because the paper is so thin. Like, you can see the printing through it. It's so thin. But it is a very cute, simple book. I could see it being fun for markers for somebody, fun for a child, fun for someone who just wants some very simple, cute colouring. But again, it's just something I haven't gravitated towards the entire time it's sat on my shelf. It also has that soft touch cover that I personally hate. That feels really icky and dirty on my hands. So we're just going to get rid of that one. Fairies and Flowers by Knick Knack Designs. So this one I could only see the covers of, and I was like, oh, that looks really cute and right up my alley. It's not. It's a lot of repeating patterns. There are some cute pages like the fairy pages, but for the most part, it's not what I thought it was. So yeah, I just not really something that I gravitate towards. Again, it feels like Amazon paper. It's just been sitting on the shelf for a long time. And again, there's probably one or two images in here that are super, super cute that I could see myself doing, but then the majority of it, I just don't. And so I thought, rather than touch it, let's pass it on. I have so many fairy books that I want to touch, and this is not something that I am leaning towards in any sense of the word. So I was like, let's pass it on to somebody who will absolutely love it. But it's a shame because I think this is like one of the more expensive ones that I grabbed too. I think it was like almost $20. And yeah, haven't touched it. So the next one is the Witchy Woman colouring book by Black Magic Colouring. Now there are some really gorgeous illustrations in here. I'm not going to flip through it because there are a couple of nude body illustrations in here. It's not in a way that is inappropriate. It is a celebration of the body. They're really lovely. The thing for me is that if I colour portraiture, which I love colouring portraiture, but I like portraiture where it is extremely realistic anatomy. And this is quite sketchy and, gosh, how do I even word this? Like, exaggerated features and more sketchy. It's still beautiful. Like, I do look at this book and I'm like, I really enjoy flipping it for the line work as is. It's a really gorgeous style. It's just something I am not gravitated towards colouring. Honestly, this is one of the ones where I debated for a long time if I was going to get rid of it because I do love it in terms of just viewing it as a book to flip. I have flipped through this a few times and just admired it from a sketch point. But from a colouring point, I am not touching it. I am not interested in colouring it. It is again sat on my shelf for so long and I haven't once pulled it out with the intention of colouring. I've only pulled it out to flip it as line work. And so there are some people in particular I know would adore this book. There is someone in particular I've got a mind to give this book who I think would absolutely adore it and is completely up their alley. So with that in mind, is like, no, let's pass this on. Let's pass this to that specific person. Be like, hey, is this something you'd be interested in? And see if we can find it a home for somebody who loves it and will colour it and will enjoy it. And the last book in that collection of books that I brought on impulse that I am getting rid of is a book I have talked about a few times. I have almost kept this one for the laughter of it. This is the worst colouring book I have ever brought. There is no artist. There is no information. And it is the most, like, clip arty, stick the images together, stolen copyright images with clip art stuck in front of it, and not even carefully put together clip art. There's, like, certain elements that just repeat throughout. So you can see this here with the mushroom girl there is the same mushroom girl there. It is absolutely atrocious. This trippy mushroom appears so many times. Like, just, you know, trippy cartoon mushroom, realistic button mushrooms, and then fantasy mushroom trees. And then, like, clearly this is an existing colouring page that they shoved these on top, like clip art. It is just so bad. Like, they haven't even cleaned up the lines here. It really is one of the worst colouring books, if not the worst colouring book I've ever seen. Like, this pre-existing bear page, chuck on these realistic button mushrooms and a frog. I don't know. And this is, like, the biggest lesson to my face of don't buy random colouring books with absolutely no information. And so, yeah, the thing about this one that's made it hard to get rid of is I generally don't know who would like this. Like, I kind of feel bad dropping this off to the secondhand shop because I'm like, is this even going to sell? There's also a art group in the Koha Cafe near me. And there's also a free library where people can put books and take books. So I'm actually going to pop to them first with this whole pile and say, hey, I don't know if this is something you'd want or something that would be suitable for your free library, and let them go through all the books. And then anything they don't want, that I don't have a specific person in mind for, off to a secondhand shop. So that's allowed me to clear it out. But yeah, worst book I've ever brought. And I know there was a couple of requests to flip this properly on the channel. I don't even think I will do that because generally it's just so awful. It is hilarious. So it has cracked us up a few times when I've shown it off in stream. And hey, I learnt my lesson. Right, back to a second-hand book. The Butterflies colouring book. This is another second-hand book, $3 book. It is the exact same as a bunch of other books that I've talked about before. It's a bunch of patterns. It's a bunch of repeating elements. It's all butterflies. There are some original colorings in here. But yeah, this one is a Shutterstock one. Yeah, Shutterstock and Thinkstock. So it is one of those ones where it's just the clip art. And there's a ton of these books out there. Again, nothing wrong with them if you enjoy the style. I just don't gravitate towards these books. So getting rid of it. So as someone who does. Alright, so the next book. This one was a hard one to decide to get rid of. A Creative Haven. So this was the very first Creative Haven I have ever gotten. It is Owls by Marjorie Sonet. So yeah, this one was hard because I love Creative Haven. It's excellent paper. Again, this was my first ever Creative Haven. It is a gorgeous colouring book. Absolutely gorgeous. The issue is I just don't care for this. I wish the owls were more realistic. I don't like all the patterns in them, which is Marjorie's style. And she's got several books like this where it's like cats and they're full of patterns, or dogs and they're full of patterns. And it's her style, and it's wonderful. And I've seen some beautiful completed pages of her work. I have tried. This one has literally been in progress for couple of years now. I just don't care for it. I never reach for it. It took me so much just to come back and shade the leaves, and I was sitting there, I was like, I just don't even care. I just don't even care about it. I don't enjoy it. And when I realized that, I was just like, I don't enjoy the book. It's beautiful. It's fantastic paper. It's an excellent book. It's not a book I lean towards. So, yeah, as much as it saddens me to get rid of a creative haven, it is a book I am not touching, and I want it to be loved by someone because it is gorgeous. It's just not for me. In that same mind frame, I have these two Lovett's Inklings colouring books. Now, these are actually colouring magazines, technically. And there are a bunch of patterns or animals like this where they're filled with patterns. It is a very cute little magazine, and there are some cute illustrations. You can see I've done a couple of pages in here. I really like this page, so I am tempted to cut this page out because I really love this page. This page was done on the 24th of February 2022. So it is an older one, but I've always loved this one. So I can do these patterned pages. Like, they do turn out all right. I did cover up entirely the pattern in the background and just do a galaxy background, which I think is why I like it so much, because it just helps set off the patterned owl. So I'm tempted to sort of remove this one and keep this one and then get rid of the entire book. And then the other Lovett's Inklings, I don't even know if I've done anything in here. Yeah, doesn't look like it. Yeah, so the same thing with that. The only one I'm interested in colouring is the cover. So, haven't even touched this one. So, we're going to get rid of both these magazines. And, yeah, I just have to remove this one because I think I want to keep this because I really like this page. Alright. Another one that is a magazine that I'm getting rid of is the Harmony of Color series Mandala and Mosaics. So I have done a couple in here. It's something that I've pulled out in the past when I haven't been feeling well and just used some alcohol markers and just gone for it. I just don't gravitate towards it. I don't enjoy colouring it. I have to be in a very specific mood to do any of these, and yeah, I'm just not gravitating towards it, so it's like, let's pass it on. I know that there's people out there that really enjoy doing these sort of books, so let's bless them with that. In that same notion, Zen colouring, I have the Botanical Collection and the Calming and Restful Collection. I think one of these technically has like a work in progress in it or something. Or maybe it was the Mandalas one before. So I will also remove one of my work in progress pages. Yeah, so I've done one in here. But it's the same sort of thing where you've got those repeating patterns. Like, there are occasionally pages that I like. Like, I really like this, but I don't like all the little line works in there. And then also, this reminds me a lot of Teresa Goodridge. So I'll just go colour Teresa Goodridge. Like, you know, this is the other thing as well, is that it's not worthwhile keeping a book for one or two images. Again, we've got a Shutterstock or Deposit Photos book as well. So, yeah, I just recognise that I just don't gravitate towards those sort of books. So, yeah, clearing out the shelf and recognising what I do colour and what I don't, and I don't colour in these, so getting rid of them. And then the final one that I decided to get rid of is Christmas Colour by Numbers. So I got this on clearance in 2023, and then I did colour a couple during the Christmas season. This is the first time I'd done Colour by Numbers. It was cute. It was simple colouring. I really hate that you can see the numbers through it. I think I mentioned at the time that I was like, maybe next time I should color it with paint or something so that the numbers are opaque. But I was looking at all the images and I was like, genuinely, I'm not going to sit there and paint all those details. I'm not likely to do that. And I already have so many Christmas coloring books that I want to work in. And none of these are like screaming out to me as I really want to color it. So it's like, you know what? Let's find it a new home. I'm sure that there's someone out there that will appreciate it. It's probably better to go around Christmas time to a secondhand store or something, but we're in the mood to UNHAUL now. So we're doing it. So with this pile, that is 18 books I will be unhauling in total. And I'm pretty proud of that for me because this was incredibly difficult for me to do. I have literally mulled over some of these books for several days. Even while filming this, I'm like, oh, am I sure I want to get rid of it? And it's like, no, we're doing this. So yeah, this is just my own little record. We're getting rid of all these books. We're going to find new homes for people who will love them as much as they deserve to be loved. And yeah, I will have to update all my totals, but I'm feeling proud of myself. It's still scary. We've still got to get them out of the house, but once this video's up, you know I've gotten them out of the house. But I am proud of myself for getting rid of this many. And if you see a book in here that's like one of your favorites, please don't feel like I'm saying this book sucks, because it doesn't. All these books are lovely and wonderful. It's just I am getting better at recognizing what I enjoy coloring, and these books just unfortunately aren't things I enjoy coloring. But that doesn't make them any less valid as your choice of coloring book. And please color what you enjoy. Hopefully you can find lots and lots of books in the styles that you enjoy coloring. And I can't wait to see what people do in these. I hope I find out, like, I hope I get to see what people do in these, if they happen to be the ones that get them, you know. I just love sharing the love of coloring, so it's a good time. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this random video. Yeah. All right, now I have to go and get rid of the books. This is the scary part. All right. Let's get out of here. Let's do this. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.